I've got my big bro on the mic. He ain't in the trades, but he's been a major influence on the man I am today. First one I ever looked up to, first one that took all the hits and bounced back. And honestly, he showed me what it means to lead just by living. So while we get into it, let's just tell the people who you are, bro, and what you do and how life been treating you.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on the show here. Like you said, I'm your brother. I'm the oldest of three boys, and I'm just out here doing my thing, just trying to live life and just be happy and share my life with the people I care about. So, yeah, I'm not a tradesman per se. I do work in pharmacy. Um, I came about this job via the military. The military put me in the army, or the army put me in pharmacy, and I've been working in pharmacy ever since. So right now I work for a medical tech company, and I help pharmacies install an inventory management system that my company sells. So not particularly exciting, but hey, it pays the bills. So that's the most important thing. So no
Hey,
matter what
we
we
gotta
choose
get
to
those
do,
bills paid.
we got to eat.
Gotta eat.
So
Okay,
that's
man,
a
that's
kind of a
that's
brief
that's
summary
cool,
there.
man. So the military took you there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, how long was you in the military?
10 years total. I was 7 years on active duty and 3 years in the reserves. And yeah, the pharmacy is a great gig by military standards. Like, I only ever worked in hospitals, and then it's led to every opportunity that I've had since the army. So it really opened a lot of doors. So it was
It's
a
it's
good
funny
choice.
you touch on that subject. So, like, if a young guy was coming up, would you promote the military to them?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I would like I should have like I went in late. I went in at 32 years old after having um kind of floundered about in my civilian world, like after I went to college after high school, and then I went to the corporate world after high school, after college, and I just kind of floundered around looking for a way without any real sort of mentorship or um, guidance. And the military really kind of set me on a path that I feel like was more directed and like more consistent. So yeah, absolutely. I should have went in at 18, but hey, you know,
Right.
it is what it is. And we live life, and we can always we can only look at our past with 2020. We can't predict what the future is going to hold. So
Exactly. Man, there you go, man. I'm glad you touched on that because that's what this channel is about, man. But I got some other questions I wanted to ask you besides all that. So, what was it like being the oldest brother? Did you feel like you had to lead by example?
um interesting interesting question, because like I'm 6 years older than Brian, and what Brian's like 5 or 6 years older than you.
Yep.
What year were you born?
1987.
87. So I'm 11 years older than you. 6 years older than Brian. So yeah, like 6 years and then 5 years. So like the social sphere of a 6 year old, 7 year old, 8 year old
Hmm.
is much different than that of a 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old toddler. So I like being between me and Brian. And then being 11 years old and having a new toddler brother come in, and then not only are we separated by age, but we're also separated by distance, because you lived 100% with mom,
Yeah.
and I lived at that time. I lived with my dad, and I only came to visit during the summers for a couple months at a time.
Right.
So like looking back at my childhood, I felt like I was almost like an only child, in that, like, my sphere, my experiences were completely different and unique from that of Brian because of the age difference,
Hmm.
and then completely different, like times 10, from yours, because not only are we 11 years apart, but also separated, because I'm in different parts of the country, and at some points in different parts of the world. So with my
Right.
dad being in the military, um, so I didn't really feel like older brother. I felt more like a only child many times, because I'm dealing with experiences on my own. I don't have a sibling that was within 5 years of me to like deal with similar things that I was dealing with. So,
Right.
um, so that's kind of how I feel about like the process of growing up.
Okay.
So
Did you, being your younger brother, did you even realize like I was like watching you, watching you while I was growing up at all?
no, no, I really didn't. Because for one, I mean, there was a mass separation, like I already described. Um, Also, children just by nature are intensely self-absorbed.
Yeah.
So like, as an 11-year-old kid, having knowledge of a new of a new sibling coming into the picture, like as an 11-year-old, I don't think that most 11-year-olds are going to really like put together the significance of that. And then like growing up in different states and different countries, like um they're just I don't know, I just don't think that there was really much of a knowledge of that connection between us at that time. So I really didn't know. In fact, I really don't think that I even knew until really adulthood, until you were able to express those ideas yourself as an adult, that I don't think I really like put together the idea that you were watching me or Brian, either one of us. And that actually makes me curious, like how is it, like what did you see in us, like how, like what were the impressions you had? Because again, we're far apart from you, and
Hmm.
you're like far apart from us. Like, so how do you remember some of those experiences, and like how did you, like what kind of mentorship did you take, or what did you learn from us, as we were
Um,
growing up?
what I took from, especially from you, man, is like I always seen you doing something new, something and maybe it wasn't new, but it was like to the world, but to me it was new, it's brand new. So like when you went to the military, when you graduated college, even when you graduated high school, like watching those things, and I was like, these are things that I feel like I have to do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
To at least be normal.
yeah. Well,
So like, because I feel like high school to me was like, if you can't pass high school, like something's wrong here.
right, right. Yeah,
Because
that's the
if
baseline.
yeah, that's the baseline. And I looked at it like, like barely seeing you growing up like that. I was
Yeah.
just, I was just seeing all your success, and then like I really started seeing you hit the gym and start working out and just doing your thing out there in the world,
Yeah.
and I was just like, that's the standard. Like that's the standard at
Yeah.
least.
I feel you.
Now, as I got older, I got more mentors and things like that, but
Right, right. So in that respect, yeah. So graduate, and you're talking about some things that were like key pivotal moments in life, graduating high school and like college and those kinds of things. So and I'm like 18, 19, 20 years old at this time. And so you're like, coming into a point like 9, 10, 11 years old,
yeah.
that is some of the most significant, like impressionable years for a child, because you're really starting to learn. You're coming out of that self-absorbed phase and starting to learn that there is a bigger world out there that is beyond yourself. So so with that perspective you sharing, I can appreciate like how it could have had a more of an impact than I would have realized
Yeah.
at that time. So,
Yeah.
but and at that time I'd only lived with mom for 2 years. Like I
Yeah.
only lived with mom during the 11th and 12th grade. So from the fourth grade, I had the opportunity to go live with dad, and I jumped at the chance. I was like, let me get out of here and go,
Right.
go live with dad and have like a different life. And then when my dad kicked me out and sent me back to live with mom, I was going into the 11th grade. So that was the summer between the 10th and 11th grade. So
Hmm.
like 1993, 93, yeah, summer of 1993. So at that point, you were, so you said 87.
6. I was
You were
probably 6.
6 years old.
Yeah.
So 6 years old. So yeah, I have a better understanding now of like, since we're like putting the math together in the timeline of like how important it was to have me there
Yeah.
as a mentor, role
You
model.
know,
So
and I know, like, I believe everything happens for a reason. It was meant to happen that way because, I mean, you know our family, you know what I'm saying? So, like, if I would have just been impressioned by those people, I would have had that, like, when you think about it, like, mom's
yeah,
kids are like the ones that graduated, and like they're, I'm not saying we're doing the best and we're better than everybody else. No, I'm not saying that, but
oh
I'm
yeah,
saying that we all graduated, we're all trying to do something more.
yeah. We all have jobs, and we all have
Yeah.
we don't have our cousins or brothers living in tents in our backyards. We
Right.
don't like.
Okay, brother. Okay,
I
tense.
mean,
Come on.
like,
Come on.
without putting names out there. I mean, come on. Like, I mean, and the thing is, it's like, oh man, like, I mean, if we're gonna
No,
gossip
no,
about
no,
our
no. Let's
family,
not
like,
gossip.
we won't do it. But like, it might, we might need more time for a longer show to
Yeah,
talk about
exactly.
some of the
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy out there, man.
Yeah. Well, I got some more questions for you, man. What's one thing you went through that changed how you move now?
Oh man, life, man. I mean, there are uh many like many parts of my life that I look back and see as being um like extremely impactful. Even like, even before, even in in my earliest childhood memories, I remember seeing um just examples of relationships that have really impacted how I am with my relationships with people. Um, uh, uh, you know, uh, Going to live with my dad, that that influenced and mentored me a lot. Uh, you know, Going back to live with my mom, that impacted me. Um, Going to college, I mean, that was impactful, although in different ways. But like, one thing that, like, if I have to like say, um, the like of all the things in my life, things that stand out the most, um, really is my relationship with alcohol. That's probably one of my biggest things, and really, like, my relationship with alcohol changed from what, like, typical American, has a couple beers every day, or maybe several times a week, or even at least once a week. But for me, it was more extreme than that. And if it had not been for the army, having been in the army uh, during the last time that I got in trouble with alcohol, because I got in trouble many times with alcohol. I only got caught by the law 3 times,
Mhm.
but I had many other problems that all stemmed directly from alcohol, my use of alcohol. Um, but being in the army, being under the medical command, again, working in pharmacy, I was under a medical command that was much more sensitive to addiction and substance abuse problems,
Mhm.
um, because it's like, inherent. It's just inherent in a medical command, that you are more attentive or more understanding of medical conditions. Um, but being in the state of Washington, being in the medical command, being in the Army, period, like, um, and just going through a breakup with alcohol, that's probably been one of the biggest things um, that has been like a life defining event. Like, it changed my relationship with health, it changed my relationship with credit, accountability, like just responsible
Yeah.
citizenship. That the change of my relationship with alcohol, and the breakup with my long time. I say long time, but because it was a long time at that point. But like at that point when I stopped drinking, I had been, a connoisseur and recreational drinker for like
Hmm.
15 years.
Yeah.
So like at that point, it was a long time relationship. So it's been uh, over 15. Let's see, 2009. So it's been like 16 years now since I ever had a drink. Um, but yeah, that probably is the biggest life defining event from me.
Yeah. I'm proud of you for that, man. Not drinking that long, man. That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, everybody says that. Everybody says that, and I do appreciate people's support, absolutely. But I just don't think of it as being like when I figured it out. When I figured it out, I did not think of it as a um, process. It's not something I work on. It's not something I think about.
Right.
I don't even consider myself to be sober. Uh, I consider, like, I enjoy marijuana. I use marijuana
Hey.
often, but I don't use alcohol because it has a distinctly different effect on my body and my mind than what alcohol does. So it's not. It's just something that happened to me. Like, you stub your toes enough time, you learn how to steer away from the coffee table. You know,
Exactly. When
you
you're
know what I'm
walking.
saying? Like, I stubbed my toe too many times. I learned to, like, step away from the problem,
Yeah.
and so
But the thing is, man, what that stems back to is discipline. Is even having the discipline, because like, so 16 years. I mean, you done been to parties, you done been to get-togethers where alcohol was present.
mhm.
So now at this point, that shows a lot of discipline, that you had a relationship with something, and then now you don't have that relationship anymore. It's like, oh, I'm still gonna have a good time
Yeah,
with or without it.
yeah, and
So
that was a
without it,
process. That was a process because um, alcohol is a social lubricant, and I didn't really have confidence to really be inserted into many, like, social social situations with the confidence to just be able to enjoy myself, or, like, enjoy the presence of others, or, like, contribute, to feel like I was contributing to the enjoyment of others. Like, alcohol is what did that for me.
hmm,
um and so, yeah, I mean, alcohol was an important part of my life from, like, the ages of 17 until like 32 or 33.
yeah,
2009. It's
whatever that was.
whatever however old I was in 2009. That's
Right.
all, that's all I know.
That's good, man.
So,
Um, man, that's good, because that brings us into some other questions here. If you could go back and tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
uh, well, that uh, when I think about telling myself my younger, I think of this bit off of Saturday Night Live, where it's like Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy's, like, because you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, people like you. And it's like very cheesy. It's like over the top cheesy, but really, like, people. people do like me because I'm just just unbelievably charming and handsome and just like
Whoa,
very
whoa, whoa,
I'm
whoa.
I'm very and on top of that I'm also very very humble.
There you go.
That's why I'm like doing so well with my life. For all of the dumpster fire that it is.
Right.
But for my younger self, like, well, one, I would have told myself to join the army at 18. Join the army at 18. Just do your 4 years.
That's it.
Just just go long enough to figure out what you don't want to do.
That's it.
Uh, but and I've told many people over that, like, oh, my kid's getting ready to graduate high school. Are they talking about college? No. Well, they should look at the army. They should go to
Yep.
the army. Figure it out. The army will help them figure it out. If nothing else, the army will help them figure out what they don't want to do. Um, but also, like, really, like, I was good enough. I did not have to drink. I could have been uh, every bit as social. I could have been every bit of uh, as fun and free, without the alcohol to take me there, to get me there. So, like, I didn't realize it took a long time to figure out that I could be the person I want to be without alcohol. So I wish I would have figured it out earlier. I wish I would have figured it out like in high school, that alcohol wasn't for me. If I had, like, alcohol was the root of so many, like, I didn't finish flight school
Yep.
because of alcohol. you
Right.
know I went to, I got into a very prestigious flight school at Purdue. Didn't finish because, you know,
Alcohol.
habits behaviors I was doing around alcohol. So, like,
Right. Right.
alcohol is the root of all evil, in my opinion. Like, if anything, we're going to be outlawed, it should be alcohol. But, like, I would never advocate for the abolition again of alcohol. I've even as a quote unquote, like, sober or non-drinking person, like, I've bought rounds for people. I've encouraged people to have a drink. Like, don't not drink because of me. Like, live your life, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
It's just not for me.
Right.
And man, I wish I could tell my younger self to, like, not drink alcohol,
Right.
um, because it's just it's not a good substance. It's not worthwhile. If you can have one drink and then sit it down and go about your day and not think about it in the back of your mind, then okay, then you're a person who can drink alcohol. I can't do that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people like me that can't do that, but don't acknowledge that they can't do that. They think they can,
Right.
but they can't. So,
Yeah. And
but
see,
more
and
power to you if you can.
the thing is, growing up, man, I didn't even realize you had a issue or a problem with alcohol. I've all the only thing I was watching you do was just all the great things that you was doing. You know what I'm saying? It didn't, like, alcohol wasn't even one of those things. Like, cause me, I don't have that problem with the alcohol because, like, I'll have the one drink and be like, all right, I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that you were even having an issue going on with alcohol. So it was just like one of those things where it's like I was only literally only seeing you do the great things you were doing. That was it.
Right. Right. Yeah. I graduated high school and went to college, and you wouldn't have known at that time. You wouldn't have known that the struggles I was having through college. Like, I went to Purdue, but, like, you probably weren't really old enough to, like, understand the difference of when I went to Purdue and then I had to sit out of college for an entire year, like, to pay off some of my college debts, um, and then go back to IUPUI to finish out my degree in a completely different major. Um, I don't think that would have been something that would have been on your radar at that time, because you
No.
at that point you're probably like maybe 12 or 13 or something.
Yeah.
um but that's what happened. Like, I lost scholarships. I did maintain grades. I lost scholarships. I incurred other debts that I needed to get taken care of. So if you remember, I dated that girl Nicole,
Hmm.
um back. I mean, that was probably one of the first girlfriends that you might remember I had.
Well, I
Um,
remember Wendy.
yeah, yeah, that was actually that was in high school, and then
Yeah.
but during college, I dated this girl named Nicole, and we lived together for a short time. But I had to sit out of college for a year to pay off some of my Purdue debts, like some of the housing debts, so that I could get my grades released to the other school, so that I
Uh,
could go to IUPUI and be able to uh, work to get myself through the rest of school because um, I didn't have scholarships anymore. So it was like if I wanted to get through school, I was going to get through on my own efforts, of my own dime,
right.
mostly. So, um, and then right after that, I remember I remember like I took you up for an airplane ride because I still had my license from flight school.
Yep. Me and
Um,
Brian.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Uh, and I think Brian flew with me twice because I think
Yep.
when we rode, I feel like you sat in the front seat.
I did.
He sat in the back seat, but I don't know if I took Brian. I took Brian on another ride by himself, and I don't
Hmm.
know if that was before or after the ride that you and I took. But I remember him going up and I like that was the first time. I think that was the first time that I ever had another person in the seat in the plane with me, other than my flight instructor. And so Brian was like got deathly. He was just like pale white. As soon as we got to 5,000 feet, this dude was like a bobblehead. He was like, it's like he
Ah,
was just white as white can be. And I was
dang.
like, "You all right?" And he leans over, puts his head between his knees, and just throws up
Oh my
all in
gosh.
the floorboards of that airplane. And that was like, it was a brand new airplane, had like brand new car scent, new plane smell, and he throws up in the floorboards. I'm like, you know what? That makes sense because when I was first learning, I threw up a whole bunch of times when I was first learning how to do it, and it takes a minute to get like your legs, your air legs, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
It's like being on a boat. It's just motion sickness. If you are one who's prone to motion sickness, which I can be,
Yeah.
but like not in airplanes anymore because I know how to, like, my body's acclimated to that. But like um but I mean he's my brother. Like
Yeah.
so like it makes
Y-
it's not surprising. I don't know
Did
if
I
if you
throw up?
are you no, I don't recall you throwing up.
No.
No.
Okay.
No. I don't recall. I know you didn't throw up. But I'm curious though, do you get motion sickness? Do you ever get motion
Um,
sickness?
when I'm up high high in the air, like so I'm working on the IU building downtown, and when I get high up in the air on a lift or something, and I'm looking off the side, I get kind of queasy, but nothing like
Yeah, but that's a different feeling.
yeah,
That's like an apprehension of like imminent danger because if you slip and fall off the side of that thing, you
yeah,
will be dead.
right,
It's a different feeling when you get actual motion sickness, like your head starts to like it's like a dizzy feeling, and then your stomach starts to turn. Um, and yeah, it's you
right.
know,
Okay. Well, what's something you learned the hard way, but it made you better?
uh, with that I mean, not to dwell on the topic too much for one thing, but like definitely, uh, I learned I learned alcohol the hard way. Like that wasn't just like a bunch of it wasn't just a bunch of self-reflect, although there was a lot of self-reflection involved in the healing process. But like when I said, I stubbed my toe on the coffee table too many times, like that every
Mhm.
time that I you know like every time I drank, I was a liability. And I learned the hard way. I got arrested, got arrested again, wrecked a car, messed up a couple relationships, got arrested again. I learned that through the hard way. I learned that through the hard way. Um, yeah.
Okay. Well,
So
we'll get off that topic with the alcohol, man. I think we
yeah,
understand it now.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are other things I learned the hard way. I learned that car insurance uh, is is important. Even and the funny thing is, I had a Ford Focus, a 2000 year 2000. It was Ford Focus. I was 24 years old. I just graduated college. I got a Ford Focus, and I totaled that thing. Totaled it, and I like I think I was embarrassed to even say for a long time, but I was just a stupid kid, and
Right.
I totaled that thing, and later filed bankruptcy because I couldn't afford to pay the debt of the car on top of another car because I had to go and buy another car. Um, but car insurance, you can't lie to the car insurance company.
No.
Say, oh, I mailed in the payment and get them to cover you. Um, dude, I totaled that thing like a month. Like I got the car, rolled off the lot, never paid my insurance because you know growing up in the environment that we grew up in, it's like car insurance was optional.
Right. Right.
You know, car insurance was optional.
Right.
It was a luxury to have car insurance. Um, so, uh, but totaled that thing, and I was sober when I totaled that thing. The
Well,
thing
that's
is,
good.
yeah, I had been out all night with my friends who were all drinking. I was the designated driver because I had my new car and I didn't want to mess up my new car. And but I dropped them off, went home, got cleaned up for work, and I had not been to sleep.
Oh,
And put that car into the back of a parked car on the way in to work, right there in front of Tech High School on Michigan Street.
yeah.
Yep, right there. That's where I put
Yeah.
that car. So
Yeah.
that was the
Well, they say
last.
sleep is like almost just as bad as drinking.
It is.
No
It
sleep. Yeah.
is. It is. It is. And I learned that the hard way. And the funny thing is, I remember growing up with my dad, like, and he would sometimes be dozing off as we're because he would drive us back up to Ohio or Indiana to visit family or drop us off for the summer, and he would rent cars and drive us up there. And that dude would be dozing off at the wheel himself.
Right.
So like whatever the trait is that like makes me discount my own fatigue or my own ability to drive, I come about it honestly.
Yeah.
So
Man, what do you so what do you think makes a solid man today, and how he carries himself, handles pressure, all that stuff? What makes a solid man today to you?
uh to me what makes a solid man or a solid person,
Solid person.
just just uh just being honest with yourself, being being self-sufficient, being responsible, in like being a responsible person, responsible citizen, being a positive impact on the world instead of lying, instead of taking, to give more than you take, to give more than you take.
Yeah.
And that's with your friend, whether we're talking with your friends, your family, your community. You know, um, voting, like being a responsible, like
Your civic duty.
yeah, civic duty, pay your taxes. Uh, and another thing I learned the hard way, stepping back one question, like, you don't pay your taxes, the government will figure it out.
They
You
will.
fig- you figure out a way to like take this deduction and take this deduction that aren't legitimate. The government will find out and they'll
Yeah.
get their money. They will
But see,
get their
that's
money.
why you make them deductions legitimate.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Take the deductions that you're entitled to,
Yeah.
but don't take deductions you ain't entitled to because they will
You
get
ain't
that
into
money
yep.
back. I promise you.
Yep.
But just being a good person, just be a good person. Be honest with people. Uh, don't take more than don't take more than you give.
There you go. What's one thing you respect where I'm at now in my life?
Oh man, dude, you're doing great. You're doing great. I respect so much what you're doing, and like I mean we we come from very very humble beginnings. We come from we didn't have much growing up. We didn't have much growing up, and I say we, but like honestly, I had a lot more privilege than you had growing up. Like I, just by default of growing up in a different household from you mostly, but like still, I was only like I may have been living with dad, but like still had always one foot in mom's house as well. And it was mom struggled a lot, and it was um, a hard life for all of us, including her.
Hmm.
Um, so for us to come from um, the humble beginnings that we come from, and to be able to have this life that we have, to have you have a house, a wife, like a blossoming, like a burgeoning career that is really going to take care of you for the rest of your life. Like uh, it's very inspiring to see how well you are doing for yourself, and um, bringing good things and good people around you. So that's something that
Yeah.
I uh, admire very much.
Well, I mean, you just set the example for that, man. I'm just following your lead. You know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's other mentors, like I was saying earlier. There's other mentors that I follow now, but you were the standard. So at that standard, if I just keep the standard, I'll be all right.
Right,
You
right,
know.
yeah. We're gonna get
And
there. We're gonna get there.
yeah. Um. Also, what's something you think I should keep working on?
Your health, man,
Yeah.
because we come from an unhealthy family.
Yeah.
And I struggle with it. I still struggle with it. I got the biggest sweet tooth. I got the biggest sweet tooth that I know. Like,
Right. Uh,
in yeah,
I,
yeah.
this
Anybody,
is
any
this is fruity pebbles, man. That's how
fruity
I'm curing my sweet tooth. It's protein shake.
it's fruity pebbles is the flavor.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
it's got
Hey.
25 grams of protein or something.
Yeah. 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 You're still my brother, man. You can be as fruity as you want to be, and I ain't gonna even it ain't gonna I ain't gonna bat an eye, dude. Hey.
Right.
But yeah, dude, it's like you definitely need to work on your health. I mean, I'm not like that shouldn't be something that is like unknown to you, like
Yeah.
that is like a surprise to you.
Yep.
um because it's something that is we come from a family that has struggled with health, and I think that a big reason we struggle with health is because we were poor. And so no poor family has access to grilled chicken pesto salad.
Right.
That's not it was McDonald's.
Right.
McDonald's was the quickest way to get, a Happy Meal was like probably $1.50 back in the day, and that was the cheapest thing to feed your kids with. And I don't fault anybody in the family
Yeah.
for that. That's just the circumstances. But also like, so obesity was big in our family. Um, no pun intended. But like you
Right.
know, that's just something that we both have to work on. So
Yeah. And this is the last question I have before we get to the fast fire round. But what's a funny or crazy memory we got that still sticks with you?
um, yeah, I thought about this question a few times, like and uh I mean, the airplane ride was cool, but really just something that I've thought about that is just like recurred in my mind randomly just over the years is just that time, that one day that like I was waiting for mom went in the house. We were in the car. You were young. Like I was still in high school. Um and you took a drink out of mom's Coke that wasn't Coke. And it I won't say what it was, but it was just some it wasn't Coke, it was just some waste. And you grabbed it and like you were young enough that you could stand up in the car, like stand up and still have like room. So like this is how little you were. I mean, you must have been maybe, and it could have even been it could have even been summertime, honestly. Like it could have been a summer visit.
Right.
I have no idea what year it was, but it was just a moment. It was just like one of those lifetime memories that it was like you already had it in your hand, taking a drink out of it before, like, and then I turned around and saw you, and it's like it was too late to even stop you. Uh, but it's funny, and I think I've asked you about it, and
Yeah.
I don't think, if I recall, you don't remember
I
that.
don't remember that.
That's funny.
But all right, bro. Before we close it out, I'm hitting you with the fast fire round. It's 5 questions. No thinking too hard. Just say what comes to your mind. Favorite childhood snack?
Candy,
Is it
candy,
any
any
candy?
candy, chocolate mostly, but candy.
Okay. One word that describes you.
Aware,
Okay. Worst job you ever had.
dishwasher.
If you hit the lottery today, what's the first thing you're doing with $1 million?
$1 million. Okay, $1 million. Just 1 million
Yeah.
flat.
Yeah.
Just paying off shit, paying off, first pay off all my debts, pay off my house, and then whatever's left, just distribute it. I mean, I keep, also obviously I keep the biggest portion, but like, hey, you get 10K, you get 10K, you get 10K. Like
Right.
everybody gets a gift. It might not be 10K, it might be 15K, it might be a small
Whatever
gift.
it
But
is.
first, I'm paying off my shit and then
Yeah.
distributing.
All right. Finish this sentence. A real one always.
Shows respect. Shows respect.
There you go. All right. Off, and this is just off the top here. It just, if you had one thing to teach the next generation of people, just one thing that maybe will help guide them or show them the way or whatever, what would it be in your own words?
Mm.
I know this whole thing has been just basically just watching, but
Yeah. One thing to teach the younger generation, uh, you know, don't drink alcohol, and continue learning. Continue learning. There's so much to learn in the world. I mean, I'm very much invested in science. Uh, it's not like I don't consider myself a scientist, but I do. As much as I don't have time to study like quantum particle physics,
right.
like I do find science very fascinating, and
Yeah.
we live in a world that is centered around like emerging technology and uh, just the very beginning of medical data. Like we think that we are living at the end of like at the with the benefit of hundreds of years of medical research, and we certainly are, but we are nowhere near the end of anything. And med- medical science has only just barely began to truly record medical outcomes. So like your diabetic foot pain and your neuropathy, your mental disability. Like we are just beginning to get like long-term recorded data of people's medical outcomes. But these are medical records that we started to generate and like digitize since the birth of the internet, that is only going to continue to grow. So just be open your minds to science, and um, what science has to offer. Like we can put rockets in space to hit moving targets and knock them off of their course. So I'm pretty sure that vaccine is probably not going to hurt you. That's my thing.
Okay. All right, man. If that's all you got, man, I appreciate you, bro. This was long overdue. You've always been my big bro, man. I appreciate everything you do. Just watching, just helping guide me without even knowing it. I appreciate you setting the standard. Uh, Without the standard, you have nothing, man. Um, growing up around you, man, was it was crucial to my life, and I just appreciate that. But before we get out of here, don't leave until it's all the way uploaded. But I appreciate you, bro. And on to the next one. This was the Working Man's Might. Catch y'all on the next one. Stay focused and sharp. Stay real.
All right. Thank